Good evening. I've got something really fun to read for you as the moon is coming up behind me and I've got my marshmallow ready. And that's the earliest recorded version of The Three Bears. Now, I said recorded, not published, because this was privately written by a woman named Eleanor Mure in 1831 for her little nephew, Horace Brooke, who was too young to say his name correctly, so she works his nickname into the poem, and that's Horbrook. And I love this one because it really reminds me of the writing style of Dr. Seuss. Even though it's almost 200 years old, it has that kind of bouncy, playful style to it, and a bit of the wit that you'd associate with the period of Jane Austen, which makes sense because this is only about 20 years after Austen was writing. So now I hope you enjoy The Three Bears by Eleanor Mure. Many ages ago, it was common, I find, for dumb creatures to talk just as well as mankind. Birds and beasts met together to arrange their affairs. Nay, the frogs of the day must needs give themselves airs. And aping their betters, not pleased with their station, talked of having a king to rule over their nation. In these curious days it raised no surprise, though now 'twould make everyone open their eyes, that three bears, very sick of their woods and their den, should fancy a home 'mongst the dwellings of men. So not caring a fig for what anyone said, they bought a large house already furnished. An old woman lived near them, who to their house went, as to make their acquaintance she was fully bent. They refused to receive her, and at this rebuff, the angry old woman went home in a huff. "Adzooks!" she exclaimed, "what impertinent bears! I would fain know their title to give themselves airs." She, without more reflection, resolved not to let the matter rest here, and worked into a pet. She made up her mind to watch them safe out, then not at all thinking what she was about, she determined without the bear's leave to explore each part of the house, so popped in at the door. She went to the parlor, and there she did see some bowls of good milk by 1, 2, and 3. She tasted the first, then spit it about. She drank some of the second, and threw it all out. But when of the third she had taken one sup, oh, greedy old woman, she drank it all up. She went to the drawing-room, and she found there for each of the bears a most ponderous chair. She sat down in the first, but found it too rough. She sat down in the second, but that she felt tough. She sat down in the third without much ado, when, good lack-a-day, the bottom burst through. She went to the bedroom, and there she did find 3 nice-looking beds, the best of their kind. She lay down in the first, but she found little ease. She lay down in the second, which still less did please. She lay down in the third without much ado, when, good lack-a-day, the bottom burst through. She looked out of the window, and there she descried the bears coming homewards with dignified stride. "Oh," quoth she, "I am lost if the bears find me here." So forthwith in a closet, all trembling with fear, she hid herself, hoping she might get away before the 3 Bruins could find where she lay. Meanwhile, the poor bears, who had been out to roam, were coming as fast as they could to their home. Tired, hungry, and longing for food and for rest, unsuspicious of harm, to the parlor they pressed. As they opened the door, a sight greeted their eyes, which filled their rough breasts both with wrath and surprise. The first bear, roaring loud, exclaimed, "What do I see? Who's been tasting my good milk without leave of me?" The second more gently said, "I can't conceive who's been drinking my milk without asking my leave." The little bear screamed, looking into his cup, "Who's been drinking my milk and drunk it all up?" They went to the drawing-room, where the first bear roared, "Who without leave has sat down in my chair?" The second, astonished, more mildly did say, "Who's been sitting in my chair when I was away?" The little bear madly cried, "What shall I do? Who has sat in my chair and the bottom burst through?" To the bedroom they went, and the first bear then said, "Who since I've been out has laid down in my bed?" The second bear, quite aghast, fiercely did say, "Who has had the presumption in my bed to lay?" The little bear screamed out, "Oh, what shall I do? Who in my bed has lain and the bottom burst through?" Indignant they run the delinquent to find, each corner they search, and each door look behind. The closet they open, exclaiming, "She's here!" and drag forth the dame, half expiring with fear. Quite determined to punish her, long they debate what injustice should be their old enemy's fate. On the fire they throw her, but burn her they couldn't. In the water they put her, but drown there she wouldn't. They seize her before all the wondering people, and chuck her aloft on St. Paul's churchyard steeple. And if she's still there when you earnestly look, you will see her quite plainly, my dear little Horbrook. I hope you enjoyed that one as much as I did. It's just very goofy, and I love the ending where it just has some Looney Tunes style justice where they try to burn her and drown her, but they can't do anything, so they just chuck her on the roof of the most important church in the country. And unlike the poor bears who didn't get their milk, I have managed to perfectly melt this marshmallow without losing it this time. You can see how gooey and squishy and nice it is. And you are entitled to eat your marshmallows in whatever way suits you best, but as all of you know, I like mine toasted on the outside, gooey in the middle. Just like that. If you are a member of the Society of Slow Toasters, then I'm glad to have you in the club. And if you're just the member of a society of people who like stories by the fire, you're also quite welcome. When you were a kid and you heard the story of the Three Bears, was there any twist that you like to have put on it? You know, I mean, most of us have heard the version told with Goldilocks as opposed to an old woman, but I have to say I like this one where the villain is just sort of this rude busybody, this like old lady who just can't mind her own business. Like, how dare these people not let me see in their house when they move into the neighborhood? Because we can all relate to that. We've all had that neighbor who is just a little bit too nosy, a little bit too interested in what was going on at our house. So it's very relatable. But yeah, if there's a twist on the story that you liked as a kid or that you've put on the story to tell to other children, I'd love to hear about that. And I look forward to seeing you all at the next Fireside Fairy Tale. And as always, thanks for listening.